I didn't understand this until I went through it myself. I learned this the hard way, and it really changed how I moved. So Klay and Meg Thee Stallion has broke up, and the internet is going crazy. And I'm not even really into all the details, and I'm not really trying to, get all up in there. But I did see that she posted it on Instagram. Let me read it for you real quick. Cheating had me around your whole family playing house. Got cold feet holding you down through all your horrible mood swings and treatment towards me during your basketball season. Now you don't even know if you can be monogamous. Bitch, I need a real break after this one. Bye, y'all. That's not funny because, she's hurting, but I'm just thinking like, bye. Just in the way she says things. But I'm sure it's probably not as bubbly at all. And I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot to put on the internet. That's like a real private moment. You're hurting, you're upset, you're just right? And you put it out there, and I know she wants to connect with her friends, her fans, and show that she's real and all the other colloquialisms, but you have to understand that there are a lot of people in the world who don't really care about that. There are people, mainly on the internet. I think a lot of people on the internet who's antagonizing Meg falls into that category. They do not care. I know she doesn't care that they don't care, but it's just unnecessary energy coming to your life. I'm hoping she's not reading the comments. I'm hoping she's not reading what people say. But the more you feed into something, the more you get out of it. And you're putting this out here, and people like me are adding their unnecessary 2 cents or making up wild stories and think pieces in order to confirm their own personal biases and their own history. They also want to use that against her because, people see you at your lowest moment. They're like, jab, 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 stick, 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 stick. Let's do that. That's crazy. So I wouldn't recommend putting that all out there. You don't want to give people more. People gotta act like Beyonce. Beyonce has it. Beyonce has the answer. She will have some type of controversy that comes up. She won't address it. She'll ignore it. People just talked about her weight because she was at the race that NASCAR or racing event, and she put on just a couple pounds because she's relaxing, she's eating, and a couple photos make you heavier than what you really are. She probably went from a size 4 to a tighter 4, maybe a 6. Like they act like girl was out here an elephant. She's just solid. She's a solid sister, but she doesn't respond to the hate. She doesn't address anything, and you shouldn't, because again, if you keep feeding into that negativity, it's just going to grow, and it's going to grow uncontrollably and really affect your lifestyle. So that's why I say she shouldn't put it out there. It comes from a place of, you gotta protect yourself. A lot of people out there are not interested in protecting. But what she posted, it did remind me of my youth. It did remind me when I went through not something exactly like what she did, because I've never dated an NBA player, but I have dated players, so I know a thing or two, right? But one of the things she talks about was how he had her around his parents, and it reminded me of when I was in high school, and there was this guy. I'm not gonna put no names on nothing. So I originally met him in middle school, and he was always super cool. He was always real nice to me and kind. Wasn't really the smartest, but just always was nice and always spoke and just seemed like a well young man. And I was like, well, let me try something out. Let me be open, because I'm learning lessons, and it's not always about looks. It is about how someone treats you. And he would come pick me up in his car. He would take me over to, he had friends. We go hang out at his friend's house. And, he'd be like, oh, yeah, that's my girl. Like, he would refer to me as his girl, okay? And his friends would refer to me as his girl, okay? So just just so you don't think I'm super delusional. And he introduced me to his parents. His dad was a prominent attorney in the city, so it wasn't like he was just some random guy. He was somebody of note, and we spent a lot of time together. So it was around prom season, and I ended up going to school. And when I went to school, everyone is just a buzz, and everybody's excited prom is happening. And we're in the final days of when you can buy tickets. So I don't know how this happened. I think we were having some type of conversation, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, such and such is going to the prom with this one girl from another school," and I'm like, "What? I got played by a dumb." I'm the dumb one. That's what I'm like. Oh, it made me feel 10 times worse because I didn't want to give him a chance. I didn't want to give him a chance. I gave him a chance, and he played in my face. And so when I asked him about it, he was like, "Oh, you thought we went together?" Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh. So that was a very interesting period, and I learned at that point, because for me, and even today, I do not introduce guys I date to my parents unless I'm serious about you. Unless I want to get to know you, I want it to be something more. I am not introducing you to my parents because, what, can't put you on my gram today, might not fuck with you tomorrow. That's exactly what it is, okay? I can't be, because when I introduce you to my mom, and then I stop talking to you, then she's like, "Well, what happened to such and such?" And then she wants to know the details, and it's like, I really don't want to talk about that. I'm not, like, I'm in my feelings about it, and I don't care to talk to you. I don't care to talk to anyone about it. I just want to move on. I just want to put it past me. I'm not interested in talking about it. So I know it sucks, but you just don't want to. So for me, if I'm bringing you to my parents, it means something. But I have learned that for some guys, and you know what? And for some women either. I just don't date women, so my focus is on guys. But for some guys, you have guys, I know some women think, "Oh my God, he introduced me to his mom." Like, I remember other girls and women that I talked to where it's like, "Did he introduce you to his mom?" Oh my gosh, you're serious? No. What I will say is, it depends though, right? There are some times that a guy will introduce you to his family because he does see you as someone, a potential person he wants to see forever. He wants to be with forever. He does see you as his wife. You have some guys who lets everyone meet their parents, right? You, her, he, she, they, everybody can meet your parents. He just doesn't care. And then you have some people who, they might not let everybody meet their parents, but you're cool enough to meet their parents, but like you're not really wifey material. You're just cool. And that's what I think it was for me. Now I will say I thought Klay was a little different because he seemed like a little corny.
Editor's note, I like corny guys, so I'm just repeating what some of the commenters said, but I don't believe it.
Seems like it would work, but you know what? Just because people are good or decent doesn't mean that things will work out. And that was something that I learned. I learned that just because someone introduced you to your parents does not mean that you are a contender for that wife's spot. And I'm sorry that she's going through this. I bet it's tough to date in the public eye because unlike all of us, you don't know how many people I dated. You don't know what I've done. But in the industry, you're on social media, you're in the public eye all the time, and people are going to assume and create their own narratives about you. And those narratives, if you keep seeing that over and over again, you hear that over and over again, that can kind of hurt you. And it's wild because people don't see you as a human or they just don't care about you. So when I was doing this podcast show, that's one of the things I came to realize, that I don't like to comment on the details of celebrities' lives. People will be like, "Oh, I hate Meg because she did this, and I hate Klay because he did." Let me tell you, I went out on this date with this guy, and we were talking about Meg, and he was just talking about how the white people like her, and I was like, "Well, yeah." I was trying to explain. He was saying that black people didn't like her, which is debatable, but about how she's just finding more popularity in white spaces. And I was trying to explain to him, like, "Well, yeah, she's doing this. She has this type of personality. She's everywhere. Like, she's everywhere. She might have to just pivot." And he was like, well, I'll tell you why I don't like her. So I'm thinking it's like, oh my gosh, maybe she stabbed a baby or seven. That's gotta be it. And he goes on to talk about how she slept with this dude and then she lied about it and she set up this other guy and he got into a fight. And like, I could be wrong, but I really feel like he does not know Meg Thee Stallion. He has not met her. They are not friends. Um, he doesn't know her like that, and I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about someone's sex life. I don't think that you are entitled to know anything about people's sex lives. I don't think you are entitled to know the truth about someone's sex life unless you're having sex with them. So I do not care about who you told, who slept with. I don't care about that. I care about, do I like her music? Okay, yes. Do I like, the creative stuff she puts out? Yes. But I don't know these celebrities, so I'm not going to sit here and go to the mat except for Beyonce. I am. That's the one I got to. I got to go through. And my next video will tell you why. We have a long history. I got to go through it with Beyonce. But another thing that we have to start doing, and I think that would have helped me back then, is that we do have to ask for clarity. Now, I'm not saying she didn't ask for clarity. I don't know. But this just reminds me of my situation. When I think about the things that I've done in the past, sometimes I find myself thinking, well, how could I have turn that situation around differently? And being clear, having that clarity, that would have probably helped me out maybe just a little bit. But he could have lied, but at least I would have had that conversation and just start learning how to tell, oh, he's not really interested, versus waiting around and hoping for something more to happen. But I am sorry that she's going through this. I bet it is date. It's just really tough to date in the public eye, and also she'll have to heal in the public eye. But I will say that, one, we about to get some good music. I'm hoping she's like a Mary J. Blige when they start going through stuff and they get back in the booth. Ooh, I can't wait. Oh my god. And I hope she doesn't go through a crazy depression, because she's been having a great year, and I know that sucks, but the ability to walk away once you identify that you have a different view from that potential partner in life is a blessing. You gotta appreciate that ability, because that's what hold a lot of people in the same place. She talks about how he's cheating and he kind of wants to be with her and other people, and she's not okay with that. And some will still play the role of, I know the terms, I can handle it, I'm okay with it. And then over time, they start to become tired of those terms. They realize, oh snaps, this is not sustainable for me to feel this way for the rest of my life. This is not okay. This is not where I should be right now. And you have to know when to put your foot down, because if you stay with that individual, then you're wasting your time, and then he's looking at you like you agreed to this. I don't understand why you're confused. You agreed to this. So I love the fact that she knew that this was not what she wanted, and there is maturity in knowing that this does not serve you and try to move on to something better. However, my girl ain't cleaning this, okay? She put all of her business out on Front Street, all of that business. And, when she talked about having to deal with his attitude during the basketball season, yeah, that's what happens. Some people are really just intense during that time. That's something that you have to handle. But I also look at it as, if he felt like he couldn't trust you, or there was a reason why he didn't put you in a wife mode. There's guys out there who they'll look at the skills that you have. Guys, I will say, guys have a good way of identifying a woman who will fulfill those roles. But he's also looking at, he does hold your past with you. He does hold your past over you, and he'll look at it and say, she's a lot, and you kind of just confirm that and prove that by putting all the business out there. You know, take a page from Lori Harvey. Lori Harvey, they hate her because she just won't settle down, and they don't like that. They don't like when women move around, right? Everybody should date. Men should date, women should date. That's how you find what you like and what you don't. It is not, you do not know how many people I have to date in order to find the things that I like. You don't know that number. I don't know the number of people you need to date to find the one. For some people, they can find the one immediately. High school, boom. For some people, you have to go and you have to grow. There's things that they have issues with. There are things that you might have issues with. But you guys keep growing. So, you know, she's got some growing to do, but I'm hoping that she takes this time to go back to the studio, use that heartache to cook us something fire. Okay, she's been doing a lot of brand deals, which is great. She's on that show with oh my goodness, Tracy Morgan. I just saw her in a commercial for American Eagle, I think. She's everywhere, and I love it. Get that money, girl. Stay in shape, okay? Keep your body tight. Don't let that throw you off. You know, if anything, just don't eat. Starve yourself. Don't overeat. Starve yourself if you gotta create some type of food addiction or something. But this is good for her to grow and to reflect. After each heartache, I always came back, better. You have a little bit of a depression dip, right? But boom, I got it together and I took it off and I just became better each time, you know? All relationships aren't meant to last forever. Some are just there for a season to teach you a lesson to help you move towards the person that you're supposed to be. Some people come in your life for a season, and maturity is knowing when it is over. All right? Not everything needs to be explained, and some things just need to get done. So, my name is Champagne, and anyway, that's just where I'm at with it.